After being besieged, bombed and forced to flee their homes, the people of eastern Aleppo face this: miserably cold conditions and an uncertain fate in rebel-held parts of the west and Idlib province. The only good news is the buses are moving again, evacuating people out of the city. But aid agencies are deeply concerned by their condition.
Many of them are going to Idlib, but conditions there are only relatively safer than conditions in Aleppo. Idlib has also been subject to airstrikes, even as recently as last week. Many children are malnourished. They hadn't received aid for weeks and months.
This is the current situation in eastern Aleppo, mostly now under the control of government forces. But today the evacuation process got back underway. The section in green is the part thought to still be in the hands of rebels against the Assad regime. Now, reports suggest that around 3,000 evacuees and rebel fighters are on their way out. Now evacuations have resumed. Roughly 25,000 have been evacuated since operations began last week. Where exactly are they going? Well, they're all going west to Idlib, but after that it's not clear. Some are staying there, some, especially civilians, are moving into Turkey, and some fighters are reportedly moving through Idlib into Turkey and then back into Syria. So what's been holding up the evacuation process? Well, the government side had been reportedly insisting that evacuations out of the Shia villages of Fua and Kafraya happen before all the buses are allowed out of Aleppo. Among those reaching Turkey, 7-year-old Bana Al-Abed, who was received by the country's president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who helped broker the ceasefire deal and evacuation. Her tweets from besieged and bombarded Aleppo had kept the world outside informed of its plight. After lying idle in the snow for hours, buses are moving again, thousands on their way out of Aleppo. And despite the conditions they face in Idlib, they're more than relieved to escape.
Conditions everywhere, but Aleppo is considered a luxury. There are still people suffering even more than I have did. Because my journey took me to stand in my bus for 11 hours. I thought it's completely crazy, but I'm just getting now voice notes from my friends who just arrived. They were inside the buses, stuck for 48 hours in the same conditions that I have previously said. So I hope in the next hours all the convoys and buses will all arrive and Aleppo, a crisis will end shortly.
On the other side, in this bitterly divided country, in government-held western Aleppo, they're celebrating the fall of the East. These people hope the revolution against Bashar al-Assad has been dealt a mortal blow. The evacuation draws one chapter in Syria's brutal civil war to a close. But another is opening, with an uncertain outcome for these refugees coping with bitter conditions, living now in territory held by jihadist groups seen as fair targets by Russia and the Syrian regime. Dominic Waghorn, Sky News.